The Hemp Wizard signature series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your... Just kidding. Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you gotta take a stand, it don't have to hide. If you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. I gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life. I feel strong about right and wrong, and I don't take trouble for very long. I got something deep inside of me. Courage is the thing that keeps us free. I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right. Get ready! Get ready! Get ready!
And good evening. That's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your weekly three-hour weekly get-together where we bring you the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, of course, the wide world of sports. And guys, welcome to Thursday night, April the 6th, in the year of our good Lord, 2023. And it is going to be Easter weekend, folks, tomorrow. And Good Friday is tomorrow. And, for all of you Catholics out there or people who celebrate the real reason for Easter, I guess, not the Easter bunny and Easter eggs. For all of you Catholics out there, happy Easter, happy Good Friday. I don't know if there's such thing as a happy Good Friday. I don't think there really is. Good Friday is a pretty bad thing, actually. Anyway, I hope you guys spending it with family, maybe eating a little pizza rustica or having your meal. I go up to my aunt's house and have my cousins and my kids and whole family up there celebrating Easter with my Florio Troya side of the family. So looking forward to that. I hope you guys are going to have a good weekend. The weekend, a little chilly on Saturday. I believe it's warming up on Sunday. Beautiful day out today. I think it's a little stormy coming up tonight. But for now, it is dry and it is sunny. It's clear. I should say it's sunny, but it's clear out there on a Thursday night at 7:06 p.m. And we got a big show for you tonight. I'm going to be solo, I think, for most of it, if not all of it. So if you're out there, pipe in, chime in, say hello. If you're not, then you wouldn't know this. So I don't know how you would do anything about it. All right. Anyway, if you're not listening, then don't answer. That's all I can say. We got a lot to talk about. We'll talk a lot of baseball tonight. I want to get into a little bit of the Kiss feud that never seems to go away. Like, I just can't figure out why these four guys, or right now I'm going to put Peter out of it because he seems to be officially retired. But why can't the Kiss guys just get along? You're all in your 70s. You're at the end of the road. I mean, we're going to get into it. What's up, my man? Adam, my man Adam Himes is out there. Adam, congrats on the good show last weekend. I got to listen to some of your stuff you posted this week. Again, a great job. You guys are amazing. And thanks for tuning in on a Thursday. But, yeah, we'll talk about the Kiss feud, so to speak. I've gotten tired of it, to be honest. As a Kiss fan, I am fed up with it. It's the end of the road, boys. Let's put everything aside and get out there. And I would like to see, at least, the Ace and Peter come out and play a couple tunes before it's over. I mean, the last 2 songs of the set, 3 songs of the set, play a couple of the old standards, and then you can go back and come on back with an encore with Tommy and Eric. If you want, I would close the whole show with Peter and Ace. To me, that's the way to end this. I get it. They've been out a long time. They've probably been out longer than they were in. But there is no Kiss without Peter and Ace. And to a lot of us, Ace is the man. I mean, I'm a huge Kiss fan. What's up there, Gumati Lou? But I'll get into it, and I'll tell you about it, Adam. There's a little bit of FUs flying around right now between Paul and Ace. So I'll get into that story a little bit later. We're going to talk a little Rangers. We'll talk some Knicks. We'll got some Giants and Jets. We'll talk NFL draft. We got baseball. I got some Metallica stuff to talk about tonight. Pantera, maybe. So hey, gold stars for you, Mike. While I got Mike on, and I was kind of waiting a little bit, but we got some sad news, and I'm going to be asking for some help tonight. All right. I know that we haven't done it in a long time. Last time Jeff and I did a benefit or got involved in a charitable endeavor was November of 2019, right before COVID hit. And we raised some money for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. We raised about $1,500 or $1,600 night out, a bunch of bands and raffles, this and that. But today I was informed by our good friend Mike Weissman, and I call him a good friend, that his partner, Joe Casano, and they are, of course, the Hemp Wizard Boys. And they've been truly friends to the show and to Jeff and I, even though we've never met. We got the product on their line, the Sunday Audible. That's right. You can go to hempwizard.net and get their whole entire line of beard care and skincare products. And we joke about it every week, about Jeff's beard and all the stuff that goes with it. Excuse me, guys. But this what I'm going to tell you about now, guys, is no laughing matter. And I implore you, I need your help. We have to do something. Our buddy Mike Casano, last week, they found out that Joe's daughter was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. It's on the stem of her brain, and it can't be removed. So basically, the only thing they can do at this point to keep her alive as long as they can is radiation treatment. The nearest facility is over 100 miles away, and this is causing Joe to lose a lot of time at work. And between the bills for the radiation and the lost time at work and the traveling and all the expenses that come up, think about it. You travel 100 miles, it's at least 2 hours and change in the car each way. You're stopping for food, there's gas, there's tolls, whatever. And the family's taking a big hit. So the first thing that Mike is doing, and I posted this a while back. Let me see if I can post this on the show right now. Let me share this to the screen. Share screen. Facebook. Yep, there it is. So on the 29th, I believe it is. On April 29th at 5 o'clock, they'll be holding an online raffle for all these different companies. And they'll be trying to raise some money to help with some of the expenses that undoubtedly they're going to face over the next 2 to 4 years, or whatever the whatever the length of time they give her for this. So, guys, I can't implore you enough to get behind this effort. Let me see. I'm sorry, I got to go back. Let's take this off the screen. So hempwizard.net. We want you guys to go on there, buy raffles. If you're not a beard person, or you don't need to get involved in any of that, you can also Zelle, or let's see, where is Mike who gave me that stuff? PayPal or Zelle at it is A Weissman 7604 at yahoo.com. Again, let me see if I can put that up on my screen. I don't think I can. Anyway, guys, I will put this up on the on the Hard Rocket Sports Show and my own Facebook. This young girl, I can't even imagine what the family is going through, knowing that at best, maybe they can sustain her life in some manner for 12 to 24 months with radiation. Now, who knows? In the meantime, maybe there's some sort of breakthrough, some way that can help her. Maybe something happens. Maybe it's a miracle. It's Easter season, and we all know the miracles of Easter. But in actuality and in real life, we all we could do is try to make her life and their life a little better, and try to help them in any way we possibly can. And I know Jeff and his wife have already purchased some raffle tickets. I will be doing the same. I'm going to see if I can come up with some stuff to donate for raffling. And I'm imploring you guys, send $1, send $10, send $100. You were going to go out to dinner. Don't go out to dinner. Take that $50 or $75 and send it to them. I can't tell you how good of people these guys are. They are constantly raising money in their community for people. And now they need our help. And I say they because those guys are like brothers. And I implore you guys to try and help. And I'm going to keep bringing this up all night. I will put it on the social media. Maybe sometime before the 29th, we'll have Mike or Joe, whoever wants to come on. But I can't implore you enough to please go to PayPal, go to Zelle, and and the email for it is aweissman7604 at yahoo.com. Please donate. Give $1, $5, $10, whatever you got. Buy some raffle tickets at hempwizard.net. If you don't even know them, just the fact that somebody has to stare at their child for the next year, and it's actually 1 to 2 years. It's 12 to 24 months. For somebody to have to sit there and go through all of this and know that it's essentially just sustaining them for a little longer to give them another day, you got to dig deep. You got to. I'm begging you guys, please. I'm begging you. She just turned 13. So imagine this young girl who hasn't even had a chance to live her life going through this. Let's give them every opportunity. Please, guys, I'm begging you. I am absolutely, absolutely begging you guys. Donate. Either send some money directly, go to hempwizard.net and buy some raffle tickets, anything to help. I mean, this couldn't be better people who do for everybody. Now we need to do for them. And I'm really, I implore you guys. I don't want to beat this to death. But I'm begging you guys. If I had the opportunity to do something here and send the money, I will talk to Jeff. Maybe we'll try to put together a benefit out this way. We've done 7 or 8 of our own in the past, I'll see what Jeff's up for. But guys, one more time, and I want to bring this up a couple times tonight before we close the show. So please do what you can. Buy some raffles, or send Mike some money to get to Joe. Either way, let's raise some cash. If you don't want to send them the information, guys, you can Venmo me the money. I promise you, I will make one big donation in everybody's name. Whatever you want to do, I really want you to dig in deep. It's Easter time. It's all about miracles, and if there's anything we can do to help those people, we got to do it. So get off your asses, and I will put it up on the social media every day. And in the meantime, I will do. I just implore you to do what you can to help out. So, Mike, if you're listening still, please pass on our wishes to Joe and his daughter. Let them know we're praying for them and we're thinking about them, and we're going to do everything we can do out this way to help. If you know any businesses that want to donate, if you know any people out there on your end that want to give some money, guys, please reach out to me. I will help them get the money directly to Joe or to Mike or to me, and I will get it to them. And I promise you, every single penny that I can get my hands on to go to these people, I will take care of. So, Mike Weissman, let Joe know we're thinking about him. And, of course, I'd love to get one of you guys on one of these Thursdays before the 29th, and we'll shoot the shit, and we'll promote the hell out of it. And just know we're here for you, and we're going to bang the drum as loud as we can for you. All right, so I will move on, but I am coming back to it. So if you don't want to hear it anymore, tune out now, and I really could care less if you come back. But this is that to me. There's nothing more important than somebody in this position, especially a young child, and knowing that the parents have to drive this poor girl back and forth, for the next 2 years, hopefully 2 years or longer, and try to sustain her. So, all right. It's hempwizard.net. Yes, Louis, it's hempwizard.net. Yeah, absolutely. I got you, Mike Weissman. But yes, Louis, it's hempwizard.net. One word, hempwizard.net. Please buy some raffles. I appreciate that, Lupika. And like I said, everybody, you ain't got to mention that you're doing to do with us. This is not about us getting credit for it. All we're looking to do is help our good buddy out. And of course, Mike, hempwizard.net. There it is for you guys. And please give until it hurts. I promise you, give until it hurts. And everybody do that thing. Mike, again, let's shoot for the week before, maybe the Thursday night before, Mike. I guess that would be I don't know what day of the week your thing is, but 13 to 6, 13, 20. So, Michael, 27th, put it in your book. On the 27th, you come on for a few minutes, and let's promote the hell out of your online thing and get you and try to get some people involved that night. Okay, so we'll book that, and I'll talk with Jeff about it. All right, guys, let's kick in the show a little bit. I got a lot to talk about. Let's talk a little baseball and get the show started. We'll get back to Kiss. We'll talk Rangers and Knicks. The Jets are still playing around with Aaron Rodgers. You got it. There you go, Michael. We got a lot of sports to get to. We got a lot of music to get to tonight. I don't know how long I'm going to be solo. If you didn't notice it already, I am all by myself. The Tower of Power, the man who's too sweet to be sour, is busy tonight. He's working till 8 o'clock. And he said that he wouldn't be feeling up to getting on the show tonight. So I'll try to hang myself. I'll try to hang in there by myself and keep the show rolling. So stick around and let's chat. So let's talk a little Yankee baseball. The Yankees have gotten off to a decent start right now. Cole, last year, boy, I think his first 3 starts were horrendous. He is way ahead of that this year. The guy is throwing gems out there. He is, for all of the knocks on Cole, and if you're not a Yankee fan, you got to bear with me, but Garrett Cole has been taking a big knock with the Yankees. And the one thing about the guy is he shows up every 5 days and pitches. Every 5 days, the guy goes out there. Now, you can tell me, DeGrom's a better pitcher, and Verlander and Scherzer. You're right. You're probably 100% right. But I'll tell you what. Here's why I take Garrett Cole. Every 5th day, the guy takes the ball, goes on the mound, and he gives you a solid outing. He doesn't win every game. He doesn't last to the 9th inning. But Garrett Cole pitches. And that is to me, availability and reliability are 2 of the best abilities you can have. There's also responsibility. But I will tell you, the Yankees 4-2 start. Gleyber Torres is tearing it up. I love the way this kid Volpe plays. He's added a dimension to this game, and maybe it's the fact the way the game has changed now with the pitch clock and the limits to throwing over. I love watching this kid Volpe play. I don't know if he's going to be a great hitter or a defensive whiz, but he gets on the base paths and he runs. I mean, he stole 50 out of 57 bases in the minors last year. And I think teaming up with Torres. Now, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you I want Torres gone this year. But the guy he's raking. He's a decent second baseman. You up the middle, it's a semi-young. Obviously, it's young because of Volpe. But this Yankee team has got a little something. Now, I don't know if that translates to wins. I mean, look at the Rays are out to a 6-0 start. Boston's horrendous. I don't know where the Yankees are going to be at the end of this year. Obviously, they'll be in the playoffs. There's still some holes in this lineup. I mean, Hicks is a hole. Left field's kind of a hole right now in itself. I like to see a little bit more production out of the catching spot. We don't know what you're going to get out of Donaldson. I mean, at some point, LeMahieu may be playing first base every night. I don't know at this point. But when you look at the core of this team, again, Nestor, nasty as hell. Garrett Cole's pitching good. I think it's Schmidt or King. It's Schmidt. I mean, they again, when they'll get back Severino, they're going to get back Rodon. They're going to get these guys back, and this Yankee team will be formidable. Judge is hitting pretty well, and so is Stanton. So listen, this Yankee team will win 95 or better games this year. There's no doubt in my mind. Short of a wave of injuries and somebody else leaping out, and who can explain the Rays? I couldn't. Right? I could not explain the Tampa Rays, but I give me Torres playing like this all year, and I love this kid Volpe, and I'm so glad the Yankees went ahead and started this kid. You watch him, and I don't necessarily look at him and say, "Wow, that's a smooth shortstop." I don't. He plays the position well. I've seen a few plays so far. I think his stick is going to come around. He's going to be a solid hitter. But I really, really love the fact of what this kid does when he's on base, the energy he brings. Cabrera, I know he hasn't hit very well so far, but I think with a little bit of youth that they do have, this team's going to do well. And it's early. Listen, guys, it's extremely early. It's 1 week into the season, 4-2, a couple games out of first place in their division. But a long, long way to go in this marathon of a baseball season. So, let's put a little tab on the calendar here and say we'll revisit this week to week and see what we're seeing. But you gotta like what you see so far. Again, when your ace goes out there and is throwing the way he is, yeah. I agree, Louis. I think he does know the strike zone. I've been impressed all the way around. I know he'll hit. I know he will. The defense, I don't know. I don't look at him and say he's a smooth shortstop. So, maybe his future somewhere else, third base or second base. But I don't think he's a detriment, and I love the energy. So we'll stick with it. But again, when your ace is pitching the way he is, when Judge is being judged early in the season, you're getting a little out of Stanton, but you're getting a lot out of Torres. This Yankee team is going to be fine. You get 95 plus in the win column. Now, let's flip over to the Mets. A very disappointing start if you're the Mets. I mean, first off, with all the injuries, the pitching has not been good. Scherzer hasn't been great. I know Senga, I watched about 2 innings of Senga pitch early in that game Sunday. I wasn't impressed, but what I read was, that he had a really good start. And the Mets, had a good weekend in Miami, but the buzzsaw came down. And by the way, we have not seen hide nor hair. Hold on a second, folks. Sorry, I forgot to plug in the power supply. We were about to get run off the air. So anyway, you haven't seen the doctor, Carmine Glorioso. I have not heard from him all week. Have not seen much of him. But the Mets went into Milwaukee and got shellacked. Carrasco got hammered. Scherzer got hammered. The Bats finally woke up in Game 3, but the first two games they lost 19-0. This Met team, I have to tell you, I said from the beginning, I didn't think they'd be worse. I also didn't think they'd be better than they were last year. And I may be wrong. I think they may be worse, but we'll see. The problem, again, for the Mets is you banked on two 40-year-old pitchers pitching past the calendar. And by what I mean by that is, here's two guys who, when it gets to October, fall off. Now they've won World Series, but, Scherzer at the end of last year was not the same. Verlander has not been great in the postseason. They're both 40s. Verlander's coming off Tommy John a year ago. This is not, a recipe for success. So, and then you're counting on guys like Nemo to have another career year. Is Lindor the first year or last year the real Lindor? I'm not a huge fan of Pete Alonso. He'll hit home runs, don't get me wrong. But, this is not a great Met team right now. They still haven't fixed the right-handed bat that they didn't have last year. So, this team may struggle this year. I mean, I don't know if they're better pitching. Bassett was a decent pitcher for the Mets. Like, he carried the Mets early. They don't who replaces that those Walker had some big wins. Who replaces these guys in the Met rotation? I got a feeling that Uncle Steve Cohen, for you people who don't follow the Mets, I got a feeling that Steve Cohen is going to be panicking soon if they don't turn this around, and you will see him mortgage the future. Now, I don't know what's in the Met. They talk about this Mariachio. They talk about Beatty. I got a feeling this guy's going to mortgage the future to try to bring in somebody big. Now, I know everybody's talking about Ohtani. I can't see that happening. I don't see that happening midseason, but it's possible. Maybe the Angels aren't going to be able to sign him, and they're going to try to get a ton. He's made it clear he wants to play in the West Coast. He's made it clear. He don't want to play out here. Now, he won't have a choice for 6 months, or if he gets traded for 3 months. So, who knows? The Angels are off to their 4-2 start. So, who knows where they're going to be in April, in June and July before the trade deadline. But if you're the Mets, again, they brought back basically the same team with Verlander. Are we banking on McNeil, Nemo? This is a flawed team. Was last year. We saw what happened at the end of the year. The Braves got hot and ran right past them. Beat the crap out of them at that last series of the season. And did the Mets really, really get better? I don't know. I don't see it. I really don't, folks. Hard Rocket Sports, Tom Florio right here. I'm solo tonight. Jeff's out working. Probably won't be getting home for another half hour, and I don't think he'll be joining me, but who knows? Maybe he'll pop up. But thanks for tuning in tonight. Catching some time with me. I'm going to be talking a little more baseball. We'll get to some football. I got a little wrestling to throw in there. Again, we're going to talk a little about the Kiss feud. Maybe we'll do that next. We got a few other music items up on tap. So stick around, hang around, and thanks for joining us. And again, stick around for a little bit. I'll get back to our big fundraising effort for our buddy Joe Casano and his wonderful daughter. So listen, it's early in the baseball season. There's a lot going on. Let's talk a little bit about the season itself. Now, I know that, let's see, where is it? Opening, game times, opening day game times. Here, let me run them down for you real quick. 2 hours and 33 minutes, 3 hours and 7 minutes, 2 hours and 21 minutes, 3 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 14 minutes, 3 hours and 4 minutes, 2 hours and 32 minutes, 302, 242, 338, 238. Let's see. Okay. 3 hours and 4 minutes. It was 18 combined runs, 22 hits. Still was only 3 hours. 232, 302. Guys, the bottom line is the average game for opening day was 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is, I believe it's 20 minutes quicker than it was last year at that time. And people are dismissive of that, and I'll tell you why it's not. I watch the games. It's a pleasure. Now, it's almost to the point now where you get up, go to the bathroom, you can miss an inning. And this is in your house. I'm not talking about going to the game and stuck for 15 minutes and miss an inning. I'm talking you can miss a good half inning, maybe part of into a full inning by getting up, going to the bathroom, washing your hands, coming back, and missing time. The game is flying by, and it's a good thing because the attention span for people nowadays, when it comes to sports in general, things in general, is limited. People don't put a lot of effort in. People, everybody DVR shows, everybody catches highlights. They have all these different apps and stuff that you can watch a game in 8 minutes and 10 minutes. So to me, the speeding up of the game is great for a lot of reasons. One, I think it gets the younger kid involved. Okay, it gets the younger fans in, and it doesn't tie them up for 4 hours. I think the biggest thing is, even a guy like myself, I haven't gone to a baseball game in about 7 years. I went to opening day 2016, Yankees and Astros was the last game I think I went to. I can't remember going to another baseball game since. And here's the thought process for the last 7 years. You get there at 6 o'clock. You grab a bite, you grab a hot dog, you grab a beer, whatever. You get your seat, you get ready to watch the game. The game starts 7:05. You're lucky if you're walking out the door at 10 o'clock. You're lucky. Most games 10:30. If you're staying to the end, of course, you're 10:30 plus. So you're 3 hours and change. You're getting out. Now you got to file out of the stadium. You got to get to your car. It's midnight before you get home. If you're lucky, it's midnight. I live in South Jersey. I got to get over the Cross Bronx. I got to get to the Bruckner. I am reluctant. A work day, forget it. On a Friday or Saturday night, I don't want to spend 8 hours, 10 hours going to a baseball game. Me, I got to leave at 3 o'clock, 4, let's say 4 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. I'm getting out of there, at 8 o'clock at night. I'm getting home. It's going to be close to 9:30, 10. It's a 6-7 hour ordeal. With the way the game's being played now, folks, where you're getting out of there in 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours and a half, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Again, you're going to get your games that are 3 hours long. You're going to get your long games that run into extra innings. But the pace of the game is better. Even if you're there for 3 hours, the game moves. You don't have all this time in between pitchers. You don't have all these times where the guy's stepping out of the box and he's walking around and he's adjusting his gloves. You don't have the human rain delay in Mike Hargrove and Nomar Garciaparra. The game moves. People want to see action. Live hockey game is the best. A basketball game live is great. Football is everybody's pastime. In between fantasy football and betting, football is big. And listen, you got 30 seconds. You run the play. It moves. Baseball, I love the game. I don't care for the most part. I'm going to watch a baseball game, but I have to tell you, watching these games, it moves. I love the fact that the stolen base is back in baseball. The limiting of the throws over to first. The little bigger bags. No shift. I love the game of baseball. Listen, I'm a traditionalist, but I'm a realist, and the game needed to change a little bit if you wanted to capture the new fan, if you wanted to keep the moderate fan. The game needed to change, and it did. I applaud baseball. I think I read something where the number of singles or hits in a game is up. There is still a lot of strikeouts, which is always a problem. But in the long run, I think again, and I'm not a big fan of the limiting of the pitches. I'm sorry, of the throws over to first. But I get it. You got to take the good with the bad. But it has increased the guys running the bases. And for me, there's nothing more exciting than the hit and run and stolen bases and guys going first to third. In the game of baseball the last 20 years, it's been station to station baseball. Don't give up outs. Don't give away outs by bunting or hit and runs and miss, or try to steal bases and getting caught. They showed a graphic the other night. I read it and I didn't read it. It was a game. It was a thing I read. The last Yankee to steal more than 50 bases in a season was Ricky Henderson in like 1988. I mean, they haven't had a guy steal. I think Gardner had 1 year in that time, 49. So you're close. But I love the stolen base. I do. Ricky Henderson, to me, was one of the most exciting plays I've ever watched. It was the walking triple. If that guy walked, he was standing on third base 2 batters later. I mean, there's a reason why Don Mattingly was driving in 140 runs a year during that time frame. That guy was always on base when he wasn't hurt, when he wasn't jaking it. So, listen, baseball is baseball. You like it, you love it, whatever. But I will tell you that it will capture fans, and it will get me to go back to games. I will go back and watch baseball live again because I don't feel like it's a 5-6 hour commitment anymore. You could get out of a game in under 3 hours. It doesn't sound like a lot, but 40 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, that's a big thing. So listen, kudos to baseball. I love that the shift is gone. I said that already, but I have to tell you, I loved it. So kudos to baseball. I think keep it up. We'll see, how the season develops, obviously, for both New York teams. Right now, the Yankees playing good. Mets, not so great, but I expect the Mets to turn it around. I still think they'll be a wild card in that league. But listen, no guarantees. There's a lot of good teams in the National League. I think the Phillies are going to rebound. So in that division alone, there are 3 teams capable of winning the division and making the playoffs as a wild card. So, it's going to be interesting. And like I said it earlier, baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. So sit tight. We'll talk a little more baseball tonight. We'll talk a little more. By the way, Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon is, I think, the third baseman for the Los Angeles Angels, and a big free agent a couple years back, and hasn't panned out. What was he thinking? Grabbing a fan by the collar. I suppose the guy called him a bitch, and Rendon came out and grabbed him through the fence or grabbed him over the railings, and got suspended for 5 games. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think 5 games is enough. To be honest with you, I don't think 5 games is near enough for a guy like that to get suspended. I think he's due. He should have got half a season. You cannot, as a ball player, put your hands on a fan. I mean, unless the guy threw a punch at you. If that guy said it and Rendon walked off and came back to go after the guy, I don't think 5 games is enough, to be honest with you. That's not the way you want to promote the game. Listen, I don't agree with it. If you're a fan and you don't like the guy, boo him, yell and scream, but don't call players names and throw things at them. I think that's retarded. I never understood that. Yes, I said retarded. But as a player, Anthony Rendon cannot put his hands on a fan. You just cannot. That cannot be acceptable. That cannot be allowed. And I think by not suspending him more than 5 games is a mistake for Major League Baseball. And I think also for the Angels themselves. I didn't see that the Angels suspended him at all. I just think it was the MLB. But again, Anthony Rendon's got to do a better job of that. So let's see what happens. All right, so let's get to a little bit about the Kiss controversy for you. Let me bring up Blabbermouth so I can get that article up. But so the bottom line on the Blabbermouth thing, let's see. Let's get that Ace Frehley, blabbermouth.net, so I get it right. Mick Mars is suing Motley Crue. I will have to get to that a little bit. I didn't see that before. Let's see if I can find it. I want to get it right. Hang in there, guys. Give me a minute. Let me get it right. Yeah, boy, I wish I could talk about. Okay, so supposedly last week, Paul Stanley called up Ace Frehley and had an 8-second conversation with him where he basically said, "Fuck you." That was it. He said basically he called up Ace said that he sees the name come. He sees the phone number come up. It says Paul S. He answers it, and let's see what he says. He said, "I got," but I said, "I got a." Let's see, what was it yet? So let me see. Let me go back to the. Okay, so basically, Paul Stanley had said that somebody had mentioned about Ace and Peter playing with them in the end, and Paul said, "Well, no, this is Kiss, not Piss." Again, alluding to the fact that the boys would ruin Ace and Peter would ruin their image, I guess, or would play terribly. And this was on the Howard Stern show, and so basically, Ace got twisted, went on the Eddie Trunk show and said, if they don't apologize, I'm going to tell some dirt that nobody knows about Paul and Gene if they don't apologize. So he had decided he wasn't going to do that, but he got a phone call from Paul, and let's see, we went to Peter. In case, but instead of an apology, I got a 5-second phone call which said, "Fuck you, Ace. I'm not going to apologize," and hung up. He wasn't even man enough to let me give a rebuttal and explain why I'm so upset about anything. So, essentially, Ace basically, threatened to let out some sort of dirt about Paul and Gene, thought better of it, and is not going to do it. But in the meantime, instead of getting an apology from Paul Stanley, he got a FU from Paul Stanley. And you know what? I would say that if Gene and Ace and these two shows at the Garden in December are probably all sold out. It's all secondary market stuff. So it doesn't matter, but if they knew that there was a way that they could get a couple $1 million more by letting these two guys jump up on stage for a couple songs, it'll happen. Will it happen? I don't know. I think it'll be the biggest travesty ever if the 4 members of Kiss don't get up there and close out the show. I would close out Detroit Rock City, Rock and Roll All Night. Those two for sure should be by the 4 original guys to literally close the night, and that's it. The first songs ever and the last 2 songs ever by the 4 original members of Kiss who are alive and capable of playing. Could Peter Criss play a full show now? Probably not. But at the end of the day, I don't want him to. I don't need him to. What I need him to do is get up there and play 2, 3 songs. They come out to the front of the stage, all 6 guys. They can even end the last song with all the members of Kiss on stage. Now, I don't know if I want to see 2 Aces and two Peters. I don't know how they do that. Maybe Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer come back out in without the makeup on and play. I don't know how you do it. But to me, Ace and Peter need to get on stage one more time with the makeup, and they need to be on the stage for the last 2, 3, 4, whatever Kiss songs. Those 2, Detroit Rock City, I wouldn't do bad. It's not a closing song. It is synonymous with Kiss. Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day. That song, Detroit Rock City, those are 2 songs that are iconic Kiss songs. I mean, just iconic. So if you're going to end a Kiss concert, maybe the last ever Kiss stuff, and I'm not even convinced that's the last stuff. I got a feeling that Gene's going to do one of those. They're going to try to do a residency once a year for like a month in Vegas. Do I think they're going to tour anymore? No, I don't think so. They're certainly not going to make any more albums because they suck anyway. But I can honestly see those guys doing something else. But I would tell you, for the meantime, if you really want this to kind of cement your legacy, although it is what it is at this point, I think you guys got to get past this. I get that Peter and Ace were fuck ups. I get it that they walked away from the band a couple times. I get it that they had their chemical and alcoholic issues. I get it, all of that. And I don't even blame Peter and Gene for walking away from them 20 years ago. It was 97, 98. I don't even have a problem with it. But you're playing the last 2 Kiss shows in Madison Square Garden. ever. I'm not saying show number 1, but show number 2, that last night, those last 2 Kiss songs, 3 Kiss songs, need to feature the original 4 men. And again, if you want to do, the last 3 songs, those guys are involved, and the last song of the night is Rock and Roll All Night, and you want to bring all 6 guys up on stage, I'm all for it. I think it'd be great. How you do it, I don't know. Who's in makeup, who's not in makeup. Maybe nobody's in makeup. I don't know. But the last Kiss song needs to be in makeup, and the 4 original guys need to be up there playing it. So, guys, get past this bullshit. Let's move on. Let's get to it, right? Let's get out there. Let's play some music, and let's give all the Kiss fans who've supported you guys for 50 years. I go back to 1975. And there's people who go back further than that, a couple years, with the first album and, Wicked Lester and all those early years of running around New York City and crazy makeup. You need to go out there and give the fans what they need and what they want. And that is the original 4 who are alive and are capable of getting out there and doing it together. You ain't got to do it great. You ain't got to do it every night. You ain't got to get along. You don't even have to talk to each other. Just show up, get on stage, play, and get off. You don't have to take pictures. Give the fans what they want, and let's move forward as the Kiss Army should do. So either way, you know what? That's my take on it. Hard Rocket Sports, Tom Florio riding solo here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show on a Thursday night. Easter weekend. Again, guys, I hope you guys have a great Easter weekend. I can't say happy Good Friday. It doesn't work. But I hope you have a great Easter weekend. Go out there. It's supposed to be decent weather tomorrow. I think cold on this is in the Northeast, obviously, on Saturday. I don't know. You're an artist. You're a guy who's been doing it for a long time. At some point, I get that you're entitled to do things your way. You work your ass off, as those guys in Kiss have, especially Gene and Paul. Those are guys who've done it right. They've stuck by the brand. Where Ace and Peter were probably screw ups. I get it, but at some point, it's got to be about the fans and the brand and the fans. I can't think of too many real Kiss fans who don't want to see those 4 guys up on stage one more time and do their thing. I'm not asking for a whole concert, but Adam, as a musician, and a good one, and who's doing this a long time, at some point it's got to be thank you to the fans and give them what they want, and that's the problem I have with Gene and Paul. They say it's about the fans, but it's really not. And whether you don't want to bless Peter and Ace, and listen, it's going to cost them money to get them guys out on stage. But you know what? Nobody's going to tell me that there won't be extra memorabilia sold. Nobody's going to tell me that there isn't going to be additional ways to make money of putting the original 4 on stage, whether it's live albums, whether it's DVDs, whatever. If Ace, Peter, and Gene and Paul get out there and play 3 songs on the last concert and they put out a DVD, I will buy it. I will buy it. So wake up, even if you hate each other as businessmen, do yourself a favor and grab the pot of gold. And that's absolutely the point. So again, Tom Florio riding solo. Jeff may pop up later on, but we'll ride this out till I have nothing else to talk about. So stick around. We got a lot more to get to right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about Motley Crue and a little bit of I'm still pissed off at Motley Crue, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I do want to remind you guys, we are trying to raise some money for our dear friend Joe Casano and his wonderful daughter, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor on the stem of her spine. And it's inoperable, and the best they could do is to give her radiation treatment, and it's causing obviously a lot of overwhelming debt and money to the family. And we're begging you guys to one of 2 ways. We're asking you to either A, go on hempwizard.net and buy some raffle tickets on April 29th. I think it's at 5 p.m. They're going to hold an online raffle. They have a ton of donations from people. You can buy some raffles and contribute that way. Or you can go to either Zelle or PayPal and use the email aweisman, that's one word, AWISEMAN 67604 at yahoo.com, and contribute directly to them. And I don't care if it's $1, $5, whatever you can, whatever. If you open up your Easter eggs on the hunt this year and you got 50 cents in one of the eggs, donate it. Reach out to your friends, your family, your businesses, whoever, and let's try to raise a few dollars to help out our good friend Joe Casano and his family, and of course our good buddy Mike Weissman, Joe's partner in the Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company. Mike will be joining Jeff and I on April 27th to promote the online raffle. So Jeff Towinski and his wonderful wife have already bought. I'm going to be doing the same. I'm begging you guys to go to hempwizard.net and buy a couple of raffles, whatever the cost is, guys. I have no idea if they're $5 a raffle, if they're $1 or $100. Do yourself a favor. Do something on this beautiful weekend that's all about miracles, and let's try to give them some help along the way. And who knows, maybe we can help with a little positivity and bring them some miracle of their own. She's diagnosed 12 to 24 months, a 13-year-old child. And imagine you're at that age and you can fully understand. It's not like you're a year old and you really have no idea. This is a 13-year-old girl who's just been told that she's got less than 2 years to live at the best. Come on, guys. We got to try to do something. So let's get off our asses, send a few dollars. Let's try to raise a few bucks. Let's try to make their life a little bit better, not have to worry about every nickel and dime. The family has to drive 100 miles to get her to treatment. So I'm begging you guys to please do something, please. All right. So I'm going to be doing it myself after the show or first thing tomorrow morning. I'll be buying my own raffles, and I'm going to be looking for some donations. Maybe stuff we can raffle off or donate to be raffled off. And of course, you could just send some cash directly to Mike Weissman at, again, aweissman 7604 at yahoo.com if you want to make an online contribution. So that's Zelle or PayPal. All right. So again, let's get back to it a little bit. Again, Tom Florio here, Hard Rocket Sports, this Thursday night, hanging in there for as long as I possibly can. 7:52 here in New York. Getting a little stormy out there. And sit back and relax. We got some more to talk about. By the way, we had WrestleMania this past weekend. I don't watch. I heard Roman Reigns won it again. I got to be honest with you. I stopped watching a long time ago. I did spend quite a bit of last weekend watching old wrestling matches and some old wrestling TV shows from the 80s and 90s, which was a lot of fun for me and nostalgic on that. So, I will do the same again this weekend. But it's turned in. Again, listen. From day one, Vince McMahon has tried his damnedest to get Hollywood involved in wrestling. The very first wrestling had Mr. T in it. Yeah, and all these. The first couple had all these different celebrities, involved. Bob Uecker, Liberace, Muhammad Ali. Kathy Lee Crosby. I don't know if a lot of you guys are going to remember who Kathy Lee Crosby is. And wrestling went out of their way to try to drag in the music industry with Cyndi Lauper. Again, with all those other stars showing up. Susan St. John's was a announcer for one of the WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 2. And like I said, Bob Uecker was there, and Liberace, and all these stars from 1984 and 85 and 86. So it doesn't surprise me that they really try to go Hollywood right now. I just don't find it interesting anymore. And I wish I did. I just don't. It's not the same. Unless everybody's trying to drop each other off a 16-foot ladder, or how far can you fall off and nearly kill somebody on a table. It's just not wrestling to me. But they turned it to a 2-night event, and none of it makes any sense. Listen, WrestleMania was 3 hours, 4 hours if you got lucky, and it was 7 or 8 terrific matches, maybe 10 matches. And someone remember, listen, I still talk about the Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat WrestleMania 3 match. It's still, to me, one of the greatest matches I've ever watched. Yes, I know that they scripted Every single move, it was over 100 and something moves. And for weeks, they would walk around going, what's move 72? What's move 71? And they literally had it down to a dance script. And I could give two shits. It was a great, exciting match. It didn't matter to me that it was scripted. It was fun to watch. The lead up was brilliant. They need to try to go back to that old school mentality, and it's just never going to happen. So again, all right. So that's my little trip down memory lane for wrestling. Let's get to a little bit of the Motley Crue news. We all know that I'm still disappointed in Crue. Now, I'm not the biggest Motley Crue fan, but when Motley Crue announced that they were going to retire a few years back, all I kept saying was, I wish they would keep making music. Not that it's any good, but keep making music. And Motley Crue, in my opinion, is one of the worst live bands of all time. I saw them once in concert in their heyday, and they were terrible. In their heyday. I'm not talking, 2005, a bloated Vince Neil running around the stage. I'm talking 1988, 1987. I think it was Theater of Pain. Jeff and I took a bunch of young girls to a Motley Crue concert. It was Motley Crue and Loudness. Loudness was great. And Motley Crue couldn't have sounded worse. They were doing Elvis songs on their encore. I mean, it was horrendous. Now, their first two albums I loved. Live Wire and Shout at the Devil are two of my favorite albums of all time. They were kick-ass. Still listen to them today. But after that, it kind of just dropped downhill. Although Saints of Los Angeles is a great tune, but that's way later. But when they were announcing this whole end of the road, this is it. We're retiring. We're writing contracts. We have to agree. We're never coming back. There'll be penalties. All I said to them was, guys, keep making music, keep it going. But if you're going to retire, stay retired, because nobody's done it. Kiss has retired 2 or 3 times. The Stones, forget it. We got lost count. Cher, this one, that one, everybody. The only people I ever saw of a real big band that ever quit and stayed quit was the Beatles. So, and they're the ones that should have came back. So anyway, Motley Crue, after 5 years or whatever, the movie The Dirt comes out, and all of a sudden, 100%. I don't, the problem is, other than Tommy was a great drummer. Maybe he's more theatrics. I never thought much of Vince. Vince Neil as a singer is not great. I've never been a big Nicky fan as a bass player. Mick has his moments. I don't think it's the most talented band I've ever listened to. And like I said, I saw them live, and in the early 2000s, they put out a concert video that one of the TV stations used to play constantly, and it was bad. I mean, and that was probably the edited version. And they just were not a good live band. A good studio band. I couldn't agree with more what Adam's saying. But they came back and they did the whole, we kind of left the trap. We left a little bit of a back door, and we all had to decide to come back. And of course, they tried to cash in on the popularity of the movie The Dirt. The book was better than the movie. The movie was kind of cartoonish. It was a quick time a few years back when all these different bio movies were coming out. The Freddie Mercury one came out, Elton John came out, and of course The Dirt came out. And the book was fantastic. I would recommend that to anybody. So now they decided they've been going out the last couple of years a lot with Def Leppard. Last year was Def Leppard, Poison, Motley Crue, Joan Jett. I think Journey was on part of that tour. But it was one of those things where, they were doing a short stadium run. I think it was 16 or 20-something gigs, which is great. But it took 4 basic big-time bands, used to be headliners, to basically fill out a stadium. And I'm not sure they were selling them out. Yeah, I'm like, I got through it, but it was for research for the show. I got to be honest with you, it was terrible. So, again, if your Crue, stay retired. You're not adding anything. Vince sounds terrible, but okay. So now they're back. They did the tour the last couple of years. Now they're out again, I think, right now. But for some reason, it seems like they've pushed Mick out the door. And listen, the guy's 71 years old. He hasn't been healthy in a long time. They've replaced him with John Five, who's a much better guitar player. but is it really Motley Crue without Mick Mars? I mean, yeah, no. Would I go see them? Absolutely not. So in the documents filed in it claims that the guitarist wanted him to sign a severance agreement, stripping him of his 25% share in the band in exchange for a 5% share of the band's current tour, which he is not performing on for medical reasons. Mars also claimed he told his band that he would retire from touring duties due to crippling pain, a type of arthritis that causes inflammation in the spine, blah, 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 but remain a member of the group. So again, listen, here's a bunch of guys who have been together forever that are suing each other. They can't get on the same page. It just gets to be ridiculous. And to be honest with you guys, I'm a huge fan of these bands staying around as long as they can. Keep making the music if it's good. Keep touring if it's okay. Whatever. Do it as long as you can. But once you retire, call it a day and move on and be done with it. That's all I say. So I'm a little fed up with that one. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, wow. Mick Mars accuses Motley Crue says all of Nikki Sixx's bass tracks on the stadium tour were pre-recorded. Wow. I'm not shocked by that. Nikki Sixx is a terrible bass player. Terrible. Oh my God. So that wow. No wonder they're hating now. They're really hating each other. They're going to get into the Kiss territory. They're going to start the FUs real soon. Vinny Appice says the Pantera reunion is great. Not so sure about that, guys. I'm not a Pantera fan, to be honest with you, but I can't. I know they've canceled a bunch of shows, and so I don't know. Let's see what else would I want to talk about in the music world. Lars Ulrich says Metallica's future, if we stay healthy, hopefully got another decade. Metallica is one of those bands. They broke into the scene. We all loved them. I know I did. Me, Jeff, my crowd. We were all over Metallica. It was different than the Maiden and the Priest and stuff we listened to. They were heavy. They were, now it's that perfect thing where they got educated. This was a band back in the day that were eating hand bologna sandwiches. They would, basically just bologna in their hand with some mayo mustard on it, and that was it. They couldn't even afford bread, and they got rich, and they forgot how to be Motley Crue. Metallica. Now, Jeff says the new album, he's actually grown on them. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to listen to it. But up until this, that's for 72 seasons, and I don't understand what that thing, but the title track in 8 different languages. I just find them to be obnoxiously, what's the right word? I don't know. They think their shit don't stink. And I got no use for Metallica for the most part. But those early albums, to this day, are some of the best music you'll ever listen to. So we'll see. We'll see what shakes out of that. We'll keep an eye on the Motley Crue lawsuit. And let's see. Saxon's got some new albums, some new material coming out. Saxon, I love Saxon, but I like that early stuff. But I think they got like 19 albums out. There's a handful of good ones. Handful. Oh my God. Handful. But it was scary. But they're coming out with some new ones. Priest coming out some new stuff. I don't know if you guys are looking forward to that. The last couple albums were actually pretty good. I really liked Firepower. I did. I enjoyed it. The last couple were good albums. But the weird part is it's good on a run through. You listen to it twice, maybe. But it's almost like these bands today, and I'm a huge Maiden fan, and they're guilty of it. The hooks are gone. There's not that chorus or that section where it keeps you and you want to hear it again, where the melody and the music, everything just kind of flows and it makes you want to listen to it 2 or 3 times. It's the same with the couple Kiss albums. I think they forgot how to have a hook in the song. And I don't know why. And I don't know why. These are guys who wrote some great music forever. And I don't know if it's just growing up or just maturing, but it's almost like they forget what made them great and what worked, especially in the songwriting. I mean, you can listen to stuff from Kiss that goes back 50-something years, and you still listen to it today. I can listen to some of those songs from 1974, And I listened to it today like it's the first time I ever heard it. It's got a melody, a beat, a hook that you don't want. I mean, those early Maiden albums, I've listened to them. I think I wore through the grooves in my vinyl. They stay with you. These newer albums, you listen to them once, you listen to them twice. The last great Maiden album, Brave New World, it's got a lot of great stuff on it. 99, that's 99. Everything since Final Frontier, Senjutsu, Book of Souls, average, good, just average at best. You know, I don't understand what happens. Maybe Mike, who's a world class musician, or Adam, another guy who's a top notch musician. Maybe you guys can figure it out. Why is it us that change our what we listen to and how we listen, or is it the bands? Are the bands forgetting how they wrote their music and can't duplicate it? I mean, when you're Kiss and you wrote 9, 10, or 12 great albums, and then all of a sudden you can't do it anymore. Why? You're just out of ideas? Somebody's got to explain that to me. I'm not a great musician. I own a bunch of guitars. I play a little bit. I am not great. I couldn't tell you why. I just know what I listen to, that I can listen to a song that I've been listening to for 50 years, had to listen to thousands of times. And to this day, I still listen to it like it's the first time. And somebody will have to explain to me why those kind of bands can't continue to write like they did. I'm not saying what they did, just like they did. Anyway, let's get to some local stuff. Again, Hard Rocket Sports, Tom Floyd. I'm all by myself tonight. The Master of Disaster, the Tower of Power, the man who's too sweet to be sour, the bearded one, the fuzzy man, Mr. Jeff Towinski, has the night off. He'll be back with me next week. Also, keep in mind, April 27th, our good buddy Mike Weissman joins us to talk about his upcoming online raffle. Go to hempwizard.net for more details on it. But Mike will be joining Jeff and I to be talking about that big event on the 29th online. So make sure on April 27th you tune in. But come back each week when Jeff and I do this together. Hopefully he'll be back with me next week. But right now he's out there making that moolah. So let's see how much longer we go tonight. I want to get to a little Knicks and Rangers. Hey, if you're a New York fan, it's a great time. I mean, the Yankees are playing okay and the Mets are struggling. But, those two teams, we're expecting another leap forward for both the Jets and the Giants this year. The Jets are trying to sign Aaron Rodgers. So 4 teams in the New York area looking for bigger things. And now here comes the New York Knickerbockers and the New York Rangers. And the Rangers, listen, they've been in the playoffs like 13 out of the last 17 years. Only 1 year they made the Cup Finals. I think they did a couple conference finals. But this Ranger team seems different to me. I mean, first of all, they've got a ton of talent. Zibanejad, Panarin, Kreider, Adam Fox, certainly Patrick Kane now. I mean, they got some guys who could put the puck in the net. Shesterkin is a hell of a goaltender. They legitimately have a chance for a cup this year. Yeah, they still got to fight through Tampa. They got to fight through a lot of good teams out west. But this Ranger team has the capability. And, they had a little bit of a rough spot when they, right around the trade deadline, when they made the move for Patrick Kane. Tarasenko came over. Didn't go smooth. But they've hit their stride the last couple of games. With 4 or 5 games left, the biggest problem they have is, they can't call up anybody if anybody gets hurt. And they can't, sit a couple of the guys. They're going to have to either play shorthanded or just kind of go through the motions, which is never a good thing. They got about 4 or 5 games to the playoffs, and I'm expecting this Ranger team to go deep. Anything short, conference finals at a 7-gamer, but I think anything short of a conference finals or a Stanley Cup berth is going to be a disappointment. This team has been really good this year. I think making the moves that they did at the deadline, eating up the payroll, eating up their salary cap. This Ranger team got a lot of the pieces. And with Shesterkin standing on his head lately, hold on, let me see what Adam has to say. When you first begin, the music you write is real raw and a part of you. And once they get wrapped up in the biz, the corporate thing, you lose that realness and push plastic. because they forget where they came from and who they are. Sometimes after time passes, they reunite. That is absolutely, absolutely more, couldn't be more the truth. It's almost like you mature and you forget who that hungry young kid was who was writing those lyrics, probably sitting in his room for 10 to 12 hours a day, playing guitar or playing bass or piano or drums and writing music, and then all of a sudden you're attending functions and you're going to business dinners and you're not putting the time in the craft later on, and like I said, the rawness goes away, and it's so true, Adam. And I guess once you lose it, it must be impossible to find again. I can only imagine. So, hey, there you go, Jeff. Hey, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, Jeff, we were just talking a little bit about bands and how they write such great music. Like I was talking about Kiss. I still listen to Kiss songs from 50 years ago or Maiden songs from 40 years ago, and how great those. I hear them for 1,000 times, and I still listen to them. And yet today, these bands are out there and they write stuff that you don't want to listen to twice. And I just was wondering and asking Adam and Mike, why they thought bands couldn't recapture that. So I thought my man Adam hit it right on the head there. Thank you, Adam. But like I said, as far as the Knicks go, as far as the Rangers go, it just adds to another team in the New York area. Like I said, Yankees and Mets, we have playoff aspirations, possible World Series aspirations for the both of them. The Giants and Jets, we're expecting them. Can the Giants build on last year and maybe win the NFC East? I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. And the Jets have made huge strides. Maybe not necessarily on the field this year because of the quarterback issues, which will probably get resolved this year with Aaron Rodgers going to come over at some point. So we're expecting big things out of our football teams, and and I think having now the Rangers, but bigger in New York than all of these teams would be the Knicks. This Knicks team is really fun to watch. Now, again, my cable system does not give me the Madison Square Garden network anymore. We lost that in some sort of contract dispute, so I only get to see Rangers and Knicks when they're on. Nationally, TNT or NHL Network or the NBA channel, whatever. So I don't get to watch a lot. I catch a lot of highlights. I read up on them every day, and I listen to sports radio here in New York. But this Knicks team is fun. Now, even with Julius Randle and his, ball goes in, never comes out, this is a fun team. And especially when you see these young guys like Barrett get better, Quentin Grimes getting better. Emmanuel quickly seems to be coming, on strong, and then you add in, you add in Brunson, and Mitchell Robinson. This is a good basketball team. Now they're going to be the number 4 seed, or I think they may be the 5 seed. They're going to wind up playing Cleveland in the first round. I haven't watched a lot of Cleveland basketball. I try to follow it. Obviously, the whole Donovan Mitchell angle. Donovan Mitchell wanted to go to the Knicks. They wouldn't give up R.J. Barrett and the package that they were asking for, but he wound up getting traded to Cleveland. Now they're going to play Cleveland in the playoffs. This isn't a big rivalry. It's not like Donovan Mitchell left the Knicks to go play for Cleveland. The Knicks tried to trade for him. They couldn't match the package, and they didn't get him. I think the Knicks can beat Cleveland. I think they're good enough to beat them. Can the Knicks go deep? I don't see them beating Milwaukee in the second round. I don't see them beating any of the top 3 teams. This is a good team and is close to being a really good team. And if they play on their game, a little bit of defense, and put the ball in the net, yeah, I do. I think this team can surprise some teams. I think they're a year away. I think there are maybe one more solid player, maybe another year with the young kids getting better. I would like to see them get rid of Julius Randle. While I think Randle's a heck of a player, I think he's more of a cancer and a problem. They played, they were having some struggles. He goes out. He's going to miss the rest of the regular season. I think it's 4 games at this point. He's been missed the last 4 or 5, and they've won 4 or 5 straight. This team, when the ball movement is good, when they push it, and they're getting points quickly. Scott 39 last night. Toppin's showing what he can do. Finally, if he can get around Julius Randle, blocking it from getting in. This is a good Knick team. And I think we'll see a really good first round series, probably Knicks in 6 versus Cleveland. I would say at this point, 6 or 7 game series against the Bucks, and a good showing would be a successful season. You can't win the first round and then go get swept in round 2. It'll take away a big chunk of it. So if you're the Knicks, you got to play Milwaukee tough. You got to get 2 wins. You got to get 2 wins. You got to take this to at least 6. If you took it to 7, hey, listen, 7 games against that team. Yeah, that's a Drew Holiday. The big man Giannis. That's a good season. If they ever stole a second round series, that would be incredible. But this team's not quite there yet. So, but I think, can they beat Boston, Philly? They've proven they can beat Boston. They beat Boston twice this year, at least, that I saw. Yes, they can beat Philly. I don't see them beat Milwaukee. And I think in the playoffs, you'll see a full squad with those teams. The Knicks would have a hard time beating any of them in a 7-game series. In a one-off, the Knicks can absolutely beat any of those teams. But in a 7-game series, I think that's a lot to ask of this team. But I think the future's bright for not only the Knicks and the Rangers, but the New York teams in general. And I as a guy who loves sports here in the New York area, a guy who, along with my good partner, spent a lot of time talking about sports, it's always better when these teams are good. It is so much fun. And if the Yankees and Mets are, playing September baseball with a chance to be in the World Series, that's always good. And I think the dream that I would love to see, of course, is Jets and Giants Super Bowl. Will we ever see that? I don't know. I'm 55, going to be 56. I've been watching football since 1976. I don't think we've even gotten close to that one. I've gotten to see Yankees and the Mets Subway Series 2000. I don't think there's any other one. I don't think there's another New York matchup. First off, you couldn't get one in hockey. Those teams are all in the same division. And Knicks don't really have a local rival. That's obviously, but they're in the same division. So we're stuck Jets and Giants, and we're stuck with Yankees Mets. So maybe someday we'll get the Jets and Giants in the Super Bowl. Maybe Danny Dollars versus Aaron Rodgers. We know how that worked out last year. My man Danny Dollars stomped all over Aaron Rodgers in London. So we'll see. We'll see if that can happen. But listen, when New York sports are playing well, there is no limit to the fun the city can have with these teams. So we'll see. Like I said, early in the baseball season, Yankees and Mets are on different paths at the moment, but I'm sure that'll change. Knicks going into the playoffs. The Rangers have a lot of. It's time for the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup, and this team has a definite chance to do that. So we'll see. And, of course, Jets and Giants, we're getting ready for the NFL draft. I'm going to talk a little bit about those two teams. The Jets, I don't know. I've talked to Jeff about this a couple times on the show. I don't know who to blame, and I don't know whether to congratulate Joe Douglas or blast Joe Douglas. I mean, the fact that they can't make this trade happen, Joe Douglas is either the most cunning GM in the league or the dumbest. I can't figure out which. And I'm dead serious. If you're Joe Douglas, Green Bay doesn't want Aaron Rodgers. You know that there's no other place in the world he can go to. You don't want to go anywhere else. Nobody else is asking for him. Nobody else, I think, wants him. The big money, the craziness. At the end of the season, it's going to be another. I'm going into the dark room. I'm locking myself in a box. I'm going to throw up and poop my pants for a week, and I'll let you know if I'm going to play the following year. So you really got one good shot, maybe one bite at the apple with this. I can't imagine you're going to get 2 years out of this. So if you're Joe Douglas, I can't figure out for the life of me if he's a genius or he's horrendous. You got a team who don't want him. They've come out and said we don't want him back. They don't want to pay. Nobody else wants him. And yet they can't land him. Now, maybe he's sitting back and saying, here's what I offer you. I'll be waiting over here. Let me know when you're ready to make the deal. which is what I personally believe is happening. I personally believe that Joe Douglas has said, this is all I'm going to give you. Let me know when you want to do the deal. Now, what recourse do the Green Bay Packers have? I don't know. Can they reach out to somebody else? You still got to get Aaron Rodgers to agree to go. Is he going anywhere? I would have thought Frisco or Vegas don't seem to have any interest in him. Could you talk to Miami Dolphins? Maybe they have an issue. Maybe they want him. I doubt it. They spent a ton of money this offseason. I don't think they have the money to sign him, even if they want and they seem committed to Tua. So, what is Green Bay thinking? I mean, they got to know that the Jets are their only option. Are they sitting back saying, okay, we'll play chicken till what point? To the draft? To start a mini camps? Training camp? When do the Green Bay Packers blink? When do the Jets blink? The thing for the Jets, the only negative the Jets have is public opinion. And there's a million Jet fans out there who are just clamoring. Now, luckily for them, it's quiet. It is. There's nothing to talk about. We'll get close. When you get closer to the draft and the Jets are drafting players, I think you're going to get a little bit of heat on Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson and the Jets to make this move happen. I don't think either one of these teams can get to the draft without making this deal. And we all know the Packers want the Jets draft pick this year, which is number 13. The Jets want to give them next year's number 1, which theoretically could be a high pick, but if Aaron Rodgers comes in and leads the Jets into the playoffs. So that's the big stumbling point. What are you going to give? How much can Joe Douglas wait? How much peer pressure or public pressure can be exerted on him and get this to move? I don't know. That's the question that we can't answer. It's been quiet. There's no talk. There's not even mentions in the newspapers. People have moved on. We got hockey playoffs. We got basketball playoffs. We got baseball season started. I think that's the best thing in the world for Joe Douglas. I think the more this is out of the papers and nobody's talking about it and the phones aren't ringing and the fans aren't writing, they're not calling into the shows about it, the better for the New York Jets and worse for the Green Bay Packers. What you needed for Green Bay, what Green Bay needed was a fan revolt. They needed some uproar. The radio, the sports radio, the phone to ring off the hook, yelling and screaming. And fans just don't care right now. I think the Jet fans know it's going to happen. When, who knows? But Aaron Rodgers will be the Jets quarterback this year. He says he wants to play. He's not going to retire. He's not going to play for Green Bay. And unless some team pops up out of nowhere to steal him, now that I think they go down and they'd burn down Florham Park where the Jets play. I think if somebody swooped in, made an offer, and got Aaron Rodgers, and again, you got to get Rodgers to agree to it. If somebody would swoop in and do that, boy, oh boy, they'd have to put armed guards outside of Florham Park because they would tear down that building. But short of that, he's not going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers will be wearing number 8 for the New York Jets, a different green, same wearing green, just a different color green. He will be wearing that next year for the New York Football Jets. So we'll see how that plays out. Lamar Jackson's still hanging out. Again, who's beating down the door? They have put the restricted franchise tag, which means essentially he could sign with anybody else. But if he signs with somebody else, the Ravens get 2 number 1 picks. Nobody's giving up 2 number 1 picks for Lamar Jackson. First off, he's an overrated quarterback. 2, he's got lofty goals. He thinks he's going to get the richest guaranteed contract of all time. The Deshaun Watson contract was the worst thing that ever happened to Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson thinks he's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson, and he might just be, but I don't think Deshaun Watson's very good. But he thinks he's better and deserves a contract that's better than the 5 years, $230 million guaranteed contract that Deshaun Watson got from the Cleveland Browns, who will regret that contract for the next 4 years. Okay, they will not make the playoffs. I will guarantee they will not make the playoffs when they make quarterback. He is not a very good quarterback, and you've eaten up so much of your salary cap that you will not be able to put a team right. This is a team with a ton of number one picks. I'm not talking number one, the 15th pick in the first round. I'm talking about a number of number one pick overalls, top fives, top tens, and they can't get any traction. They can't make the playoffs. They can't win a bunch of games. They're in an okay division. Yes, Cincinnati's good. So that contract will haunt them for that reason. And right now, Lamar Jackson looks like he's going to be playing football next year on the franchise tag for the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see anybody making a trade for him. I don't see anybody signing him to the deal he wants and giving up 2 number one picks. The guy's missed a ton of games the last 2 years. And he is overrated. Overly overrated. So sit back and watch. There's still two veteran quarterbacks out there looking for a job. Well, I don't know. I guess technically they both have jobs. They're just looking for other jobs. How's that? So we'll see how those two play out. Then we got the NFL draft coming up in a few weeks. Giants picking at number 25. Haven't done my draft research yet. I'm working on it. But the Giants, listen, overall, the Giants need a wide receiver. Now, I keep hearing nothing but slot guys. Here's the problem. They've already got Wan'Dale Robinson. They're trying to hope to come back. That Sterling Shepard's going to come back. 2 guys who play in the slot. All right. They're linked to a couple of guys. When they pick at 25, there may be only 1 or 2 decent receivers left on the board of the top guys and their slots. And the Giants really need a home run guy, a big guy. So I thought Isaiah Hodgins came in at the end of the year and did a nice job for the Giants. Is he a number 1? No. Is he possibly a number 2, 3? Sure. I could see that. That leaves Darius Slayton. And Slayton's a little on the undersized part, and he drops a lot of passes. Now, he's a home run hitter, at least the best the Giants have had in the last few years. And him and Jones seem to have a pretty good connection. The problem I have with Darius Slayton is he drops a lot of balls. He just drops a lot of – he makes some tough catches, and then he'll drop some easy passes. So the Giants need to correct a couple things in this draft. Very easy to see. I am not a football expert, but as a huge Giant fan and a football fan and somebody who loves the inner workings of the game, we need a wide receiver. We need some interior offensive line, especially at center right now. The Giants are completely busted in the center department. Feliciano left, I think, for the 49ers, and Gates, who was the backup, more of a guard last year than he was a center, but played center 2 years ago before he got the horrific injury. Gates went to the Commanders. So obviously the Giants didn't think much of either guy. They didn't make a big play to keep either one of them. And I think they're going to try to draft either, there'll be a bunch of guys cut right before the season. You'll even probably see some guys cut after June. And I think the Giants will try to bring in another veteran center. But I think this will be a draft where the second round will be a center. They will try to get that guy. They can use another guard. I think they set a tackle. Okay, so wide receiver, interior offensive line, especially at center. A run stopper. Okay, I know they put in Nacho and but I would get somebody in day 2, maybe day 3, grab a run stopper, and a corner. Now the corner department, I think you got to try to solve that early, or maybe some more free agent stuff. I know they signed a couple guys. Adoree Jackson's a good player, but he's not a number 1 corner. He's a good number 2. He's on number 1, and he played much better last year than he did the year before. So we'll see. I think the Giants are in good shape. They brought back a few of their guys. Another year with Danny Dimes in the Dable system with Kafka and Wink back. I think this team will be better. Again, losing Julian Love, that hurts. Julian Love hurts a little bit. I think he's a heck of a player, and I think that he'll be tough to replace, but he is replaceable. So I think we'll certainly see some movement there. But again, we're going to be doing the NFL draft live. Jeff and I, we do it every year. We'll have the draft playing, and we'll comment on all the picks. We normally get to do the Giants and Jets because they're usually in the top 10, so we'll usually put that on the air. But I don't know if we'll be around for pick 25 where the Giants are. We'll try to hang in there for the Jets pick at 13 if they still have it. But we'll certainly do top 10, and we'll be on the air. Maybe we'll get some people to pop in with us. But let's see where that plays out. So we'll get to that along the way. Let's see. I think I've hit all my major points tonight. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up a little early. But I do want to go back to my original conversation of the night. And that, of course, is about our good buddy Joe Cassano and his daughter, who found out this week that she has a brain tumor on the base of her spine and needs a lot of radiation therapy to sustain her life. Now, from what I understand, it's inoperable, and they have given her 1 to 2 years to live. Now, let's hope that is underdone, and she gets a lot more time than that. Maybe, in the season of miracles, where we all know the story of Jesus 3 days later rising from the dead and saving mankind. Maybe in that spirit, this time of the year, we can pull out a little miracle of sorts. And I'm asking everybody to dig into their pocket here and perform a little miracle and try to help pay for some of the cost for this poor family. They got to drive 100 miles each way to get her to her treatments. We all know gas, tolls. I mean, we all know the price of gas. Thank you, Joe Biden. Wear and tear in the car, just grabbing food out to eat while you're waiting for her to do a treatment. Stuff like that. And I'm sure there's medications and even if they have coverage, you're still paying stuff out of your pocket. So they need some help. And we've been asked to try to promote that. So on April 29th, Hemp Wizard on their hempwizard.net website, we'll be holding an online raffle. If you go on and you'll see all the different people who have donated items or gift certificates or whatever to be raffled off. And I know Jeff and his wife have already purchased. I will do it tomorrow. So I'm begging you guys to please to go to hempwizard.net and buy some tickets, buy some raffles. If you don't want to buy raffles, if you're not interested in any of the companies and the things they're offering, please go to PayPal or Zelle. And the email for those are awiseman, AWISEMAN 7604 at yahoo.com, and give some money directly. If you don't want to buy a raffle, I got it. If it's $1, if it's $100, if it's, you went to an Easter egg hunt, then you open up the plastic egg and you got 50 cents, send it to them. This couldn't be more of a worthy cause for all of us to get behind. And again, I've never met Mike Weissman or Joe Cassano in my life. They've been nothing but good to the Hard Rock and Sports Show. We talk off the air. We have a few laughs. We share a lot of taste in music, and I see that the good that they do in their community with their benefits they do for others, and now they're asking for our help. And certainly the Hard Rock and Sports Show will be there for them, and I'm hoping that you guys as friends of ours will help our friends. And if you know Mike and Joe personally, or if you know the company, even more reason to jump in and help out. So do me a favor, folks. Hempwizard.net, buy your raffles on April 29th at 5 p.m. Log on. Maybe you'll win some prizes. If you're busy or you don't want a raffle, again, PayPal or Zelle, awiseman 7604 at yahoo.com. Please do me a favor and contribute to this I can't call it amazing, to this horrendous cause. I wish that Mike and Joe, his daughter, his family, I offer them my prayers and my support, and anything we can do here at Hard Rock and Sports, we certainly will try to do, and we implore you guys to help out. So I know things are tough out there for a lot of us. people are watching every penny. We're watching these banks collapse. We're watching the dollar get devalued by a government that is just inept. We're all afraid of what's coming down the pike in the future. A year and 2024 is still a year and a half away, and we're stuck with some morons in this country in government, and who knows if it'll get fixed even then. So, but all we can do is hope for the best, and along the way we can try to take care of each other. So I'm asking you guys to please dig deep and try and help this wonderful family and in their time of need. So again, folks, all I can say is I really appreciate Adam and Mike and Jeff popped up and a whole bunch of people for tuning in tonight and people talking to me offline. I'm going to wrap it up here. I had an 18-hour day yesterday, 4:30 start in Brooklyn, which is about an hour from my house in Jersey. And I didn't get home till about 8:30 last night. I had a really long day. We poured 800 yards of concrete. I pour concrete for a living. And it was a long week, a long day, and I'm exhausted. But I wanted to get on the air. I wanted to talk to you guys, and I just love doing this. And I hope I entertained you. I hope I informed you a little bit, and I hope I made you do a little thinking. And of course, I hope I inspired you to reach out to the Casano family and help out. So there you go. Thank you, Adam. You're the best. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out Fester. Go to Adam Hines' Facebook page, guys, and check out this week's shows. They were great. I have to tell you, having never known anything about Adam and Fester before this, I got to tell you, those guys are a lot of fun. They had a great show, and if there's any way you guys can support them, please do. If they're in your area, you get a chance to go see them, I would recommend it. I hope someday they're out this way and I'll get a chance to see them live and get to meet Adam. Seems like a great guy. And of course, I can't thank him enough for he's here every week hanging out with me. And there you go. And I love hanging out with him, and it's a lot of fun. So again, guys, I'll wrap this one up. I hope you guys have a great night tonight. I guess I can't say enjoy Good Friday. It's kind of weird to say that. You got it, Adam. But if you're off, I have a 3-day weekend. I'm going to enjoy every bit of it tomorrow. But please enjoy your Easter if you're spending time with your family. Have your pizza again. You have your pizza rustica. I don't know if everybody out there has it's kind of an Easter pie. It's got egg. It's got hams. It's got cheese. I look forward to every very heavy thing to eat. But pizza rustica, or they call it pizza again. My family makes a macaroni and veal dish every year. It's kind of a tradition in our family. And we all get together. There's 20-something of us. The family keeps growing now. Everybody's getting married and who's having kids. So the family's growing. We'll get together at my aunt's house. We do it every year. So I look forward to Sunday there. But I wish you guys, you and all your families, a wonderful Easter weekend. Whether you believe in the resurrection of Christ or you're just looking forward to seeing the Easter Bunny, either way, please have a safe weekend. Enjoy your time if you spend it with family or if you spend it alone. Hey, let us know. We really want nobody to be out there by themselves. And, of course, have a great next week. We'll see you back here next Thursday night when the Hard Rock and Sports Show comes on back. So for Jeff Towinski, myself, and everybody here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, please check out headwizard.net. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. Everybody have a good one. Please be safe. I'll see you next Thursday night. Good night, everybody.